5.8 billion naira loud in Lekki, Lagos stash house, busts Kuchi's factory. A 60-year-old man, Romanus Wabara, was among 3 persons with disability arrested by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, for drug trafficking during interdiction operations in parts of Anambra and Kwara states. Based on credible intelligence, Wabara was on Wednesday, 6th May 2026, traced to Akpaka Forest, Onitsha, where he was found with 250 grams of skunk in retail sachets. In a different raid at Obunike area of the state, NDLEA officers on Thursday, 7th May, arrested another person with disability, Amos Kenneth, with 160.3 grams of tramadol, 225 milligrams, and 100 milligrams, 80 pills of diazepam, 38.23 grams of XO5, and 176.93 grams of skunk. In Kwara, NDLEA operatives on patrol along Bode Sadu on Friday, 8th May, intercepted a commercial vehicle, and in the course of the search, one of the passengers, a person with disability, Usman Salisu, was found with 6.3 kilograms skunk concealed in a brown school bag. Operatives of a Special Operations Unit in NDLEA on Friday, 8th May, raided a Lekki, Lagos mansion used as stash house where 4,000 parcels of loud, a strong strain of imported cannabis weighing 2,326 kilograms, with a street value of over 5,815 million naira were recovered. Also seized from the house located at number 36 African Lane, Lekki Phase 1 include 2 Mercedes-Benz buses and different designer sachets used in packaging the illicit substance for retail distribution. While Emmanuel Osita Okeke was arrested with 129 kilograms skunk at Nyanya Akaru, Nasarawa State, on Monday, 4th May, NDLEA operatives on patrol along Okene Lokoja Highway, Kogi State, on Friday, 8th May, intercepted a white commuter J5 bus heading to Abuja. A search of the vehicle led to the recovery of 76 jumbo bags of skunk weighing 766 kilograms and the arrest of 3 suspects, Matthew Omohove, Ebuka Desmond, and Babangida Musa. In an operation at Ijora Badia area of Lagos, NDLEA officers on Wednesday, 6th May, raided a makeshift Kuchi's production factory where 2 suspects, Bosse Jamiu and Benga Gege, were arrested. They were caught in the act of cooking cannabis and mixing same with other illicit substances. A total of 270 liters of already produced Kuchis and 106 grams of tramadol, 225 milligrams, were recovered from them. While commending the officers and men of the Special Operations Units, Anambra, Kwara, Kogi, Nasarawa, and Lagos commands of the agency for the arrest and seizures, Chairman, Chief Executive Officer of NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, retired, noted their drug supply reduction efforts balanced with WADA sensitization activities, while he charged them and their compatriots across the country to maintain the current tempo. That's it on arrest and seizures. Next is the update on some of the WADA activities across the country for the week, brought to you by my colleague, Peace.
Thank you, Netta. My name is Peace, the Pastor Aluge, and here are some of the WADA activities across the country for the week. In redefining the national conversation on drug abuse, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has positioned its War Against Drug Abuse WADA Social Advocacy Initiative as more than just a law enforcement campaign. Designed as an inclusive and progressive strategy, WADA emphasizes awareness, prevention, early detection and rehabilitation, and community participation as key pillars of drug control by actively involving people where they live and work. Through regular awareness programs in schools, markets, motor parks, places of worship, and other public spaces, the agency is enhancing public understanding of drug use in Nigeria by addressing misconceptions, reducing stigma, and strengthening collective commitment to healthier living. In this regard, on Tuesday, 5th May 2026, the Zone 8 Command of NDLEA delivered a WADA sensitization lecture to students and staff of Golden Anchor Secondary School, Shomolu, Lagos. The lecture focused on raising awareness about the dangers of substance abuse, promoting responsible decision-making among students, and encouraging the creation of a safe and drug-free academic environment. On Wednesday, 6th May 2026, the Katsina State Command of NDLEA held a WADA Enlightenment Lecture for students and staff of Anur International School, Dutima. The session highlighted the harmful consequences of illicit drug use and encouraged students to embrace positive values, avoid peer pressure, and actively support anti-drug campaigns within their communities. Similarly, the Ekiti State Command delivered a WADA Enlightenment Lecture to students and staff of Federal College of Education, Ilawe, Ekiti. The engagement emphasized the importance of drug abuse prevention, healthy lifestyle choices, and the role of educational institutions in fostering awareness and discipline among young people. Meanwhile, the Zone 4 Command conducted a WADA sensitization lecture for students and staff of Sa'al Model Secondary School, Lafia. The outreach focused on educating participants about the risk associated with substance abuse and the need for collective action in promoting safer and healthier communities. On Thursday, 7th May 2026, the Oyo State Command of NDLEA delivered a WADA sensitization lecture to students and staff of Isemile Grammar School, Isemile, Kajola, local government area. The lecture underscored the importance of early awareness, self-discipline, and informed choices in preventing drug abuse among students. In Akwa Ibom State, the NDLEA Command conducted a WADA Enlightenment Lecture for students and staff of Mary Hani Secondary School, Oron. The session focused on the dangers of substance abuse, its impact on academic performance and personal development, while encouraging students to remain committed to positive and healthy lifestyles. Sustaining the week's advocacy effort, the Enugu State Command delivered a WADA Enlightenment Lecture to traditional rulers in Udi local government area. The engagement emphasized the vital role of traditional institutions in community-based drug abuse prevention, advocacy, and the promotion of drug-free societies. On Friday, 8 May 2026, the Niger State Command delivered a WADA advocacy lecture to students and staff of Government Day Secondary School, Gauraka. The outreach highlighted the dangers of drug abuse and encouraged students to become ambassadors of anti-drug advocacy within their schools and communities. In like manner, the Kano State Strategic Command delivered a WADA sensitization lecture to students and staff of Malam Ibrahim Islamia School, Ranu. The lecture focused on educating students about the long-term effects of substance abuse and the importance of maintaining focus on their education and personal growth. Concluding the week's activities, the Abia State Command conducted a WADA Enlightenment Lecture for students and staff of Adventist Secondary Technical College, Owerinta, Isialangwa local government area. The session reinforced the importance of continuous drug abuse awareness, prevention strategies, and collective responsibility in building healthier and drug-free communities. That's the update for this week. My name is Peace, and I hand you over to our host, Mr. Femi, Baba Femi.
All right, thank you very much, dear Peace and Nathan. Welcome back from the News Alert segment. Now let's remind ourselves about some of the rules of engagement on this program today. Please note that when we approve you to be on the speaker's corner, ensure you remain muted until after the presentation by our guest speaker, and then we start inviting individuals one after the other to unmute themselves, make their contributions, or ask their questions as briefly as possible, just as the case may be. Please let's continue to follow this so that we can have a seamless conversation and then hear one another. Okay, so let's, before I formally introduce our guest speaker, let's also tell you about the NDLEA's Call Center. That's a platform put in place by the leadership of the agency to ensure that those in the city centers and right in the rural communities have access to some level of psychosocial support services, especially those struggling with substance abuse or those who may not even know how to get help. All you need to do wherever you are in any part of the country is to call our toll-free helpline. That is 0800 10203040. Our toll-free helpline again is 0800 10 20 30 40. That's the number to call in case you need support, you need treatment for yourself, your loved ones, a family member, or a friend struggling with substance abuse. It's toll free. The bill is on us. You are not paying a dime for the call. And then you have professionals talking of counselors, clinical psychologists, psychotherapists, and even psychiatric doctors, right, working 24/7 every day of the week to attend to your needs, to support you. So without the fear of being judged or being stigmatized, all you need to do from the comfort of your homes is to dial a toll-free helpline so that you can access the needed support. Another thing about the call center is the fact that it's language friendly, language sensitive, meaning that if you cannot speak English or Pidgin, our experts at the center can talk to you in any of the three major Nigerian languages of Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo. This is to ensure that this service is available to those down in the rural communities, in the villages, and so that there will be no excuse of language barrier. That's one of the things the agency is doing to support those struggling with substance abuse. All right, that the public service announcement segment for this program. Now let's get to the nitty-gritty of the conversation because we just have barely 1 hour left. And so our guest speaker today, it's already well seated with us. She is Soluade Esther Oluwayemisi, who is a counseling psychologist, addiction prevention and treatment professional, and mental health therapist dedicated to helping individuals finding healing, hope, and restoration. She's widely known for her message, healing is possible and no one is beyond restoration. Absolutely. Queen Esther, is popularly called, holds a B.Ed in guidance and counseling from the Obafemi Awolowo University, that's in Ile-Ife, and a master's degree in counseling psychology. I think she has specializes in remedial and reformatory counseling from the University of Ibadan. All right. She's currently pursuing her PhD in clinical psychologist at the University of Ibadan, further deepening her expertise in mental health and behavioral sciences. Queen Esther is the founder of Hold My Hand Counseling Hub, a fast-growing mental health initiative providing therapy, recovery support, and youth-focused emotional wellness education. Through her work, she embodies her philosophy. You don't have to walk through healing alone. Someone can hold your hand. She currently serves as a therapist at the Compassionate Recovery Center. That must be Dr. Dokun Adedeji Center. All right, where she works with individuals battling substance use disorders using evidence-based interventions, relapse prevention strategies, and family therapy. She is the public relations officer of the International Society of Substance Use Professionals, ISOP, Oyo State Chapter, the RCCG, that's the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Province 22, Yaya Counseling Director, and RCCG Yaya Region 42 Counseling Director. She also serves as the emergency response team lead of the Association Against Alcohol Harm in Nigeria. Queen Esther leads the Mobile Counseling and Tower initiative, taking therapy and psychoeducation to underserved communities, and she is also the co-founder of the Ibadan Counseling Hangout. She has impacted hundreds of lives through therapy, outreach, and mental health advocacy, working across communities, faith-based organizations, and recovery settings. Her professional training spans both local and international certifications, including the Colombo Drug Advisory Program, International Society of Substance Use Professionals, and the Ontario Tobacco Research Unit. Her work blends clinical expertise, empathy, and education to help individuals rediscover their identity, and overcome addiction and build healthier emotional lives. She is also a passionate advocate for mental health awareness and the humane treatment of people who use drugs, actively contributing to conversations around stigma reduction policy and community based interventions. Known for her compelling and transformative speaking style, Queen Esther has been featured on radio, television, conferences, churches, and youth platforms. And here we are featuring her as our guest speaker on the NDLA's platform, where she speaks on mental health, addiction recovery, emotional healing, stress management, and the intersection of faith and psychological well-being. Queen Esther is driven by a clear and powerful mission to give people hope, restore broken identities, and ensure that no one encounters her and remains the same. We do hope that tens and thousands of others who will listen to you today will not remain the same. Please join me in welcoming Queen Soluade Esther Oluwayemisi as I invite her to unmute herself now when we listen to her for the next 20 minutes discuss our topic for today, which is campus strengths and mental health addressing substance use in schools. It's our pleasure to have you, Queen Esther. Please go ahead and let's listen to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Good evening, good afternoon. Please, can we hear me?
You are very loud and clear.
All right. Thank you very much. I want to sincerely appreciate NGLA for bringing me on board and for creating this important conversation around campus trends, mental health, and substance use in schools among young people. And this conversation is very important in a time like this because a lot is happening in our school. A lot is happening, and a lot of young people are being affected due to so many things, most especially underlying mental health issues and difficult life experience. So we are going to be focusing on this issue because a lot of students are being affected, and not only students, families are being affected, schools are affected, our community is affected, and even the future of our society is affected because we can't have a safe community, we can't have a safe society if substance use is on the high side. And this is a silent pandemic in our campuses today. Now, a lot of times when people hear substance or that someone is using drugs or abusing drugs, we often think about a bad child, a bad person, someone that is just being wicked, does not have mercy, does not even pity. This guy does not even pity his parents. He just wants to be a bad boy. You know, we see bad behavior, indiscipline, but this issue is way beyond how we are looking at it, especially if we look at it from a deeper angle. And if we are going to succeed in this area, if we are going to be able to help people that are struggling, if we are going to reduce the rate of substance use in our society and bring people out of this problem, we must stop looking at addiction as a moral failure, but we must see it as a failed coping mechanism for mental health crisis, because this conversation is about campus trend and mental health. A lot of times people go into substance because they simply want to cope with their challenges, because they simply want to just cover this thing up and get out of the reality of the problem that is currently on ground, that is staring them in their face. And because of how our campuses, how our school is, and this underlying mental health problems, people want to get away. And I want us to know on this platform today that behind many cases of substance use that we are seeing around, their emotional struggles, their mental health challenges. There is social pressure, there is identity confusion, there is unhealed trauma, there is loneliness, and even desperation to cope with problems, how to manage stress, and what the individual is facing. So, which tells us that when you see someone using substance, or when you must look at it from the point of what is this, what could be the problem, instead of seeing the person as the problem. We must ask ourselves, what could be the problem? Is there anything this person is trying to get away from, right? And many of our students, many of our young ones are not they are not necessarily searching for self-destruction, because a lot of times when we see people use us, I say, oh, this guy just wants to destroy his life, this person just wants to be like this. We must know that it's not just about self-destruction. It's about searching for relief. It's about searching for confidence, searching for escape, wanting to escape from reality, wanting to have a sense of belonging, especially where they feel accepted or where they feel loved. And that is why this conversation around substance use must include conversations around mental health. So if you are going to be dealing with substance use, if you are going to be dealing with substance abuse, if you are going to be dealing with addiction, we must pay attention to mental health. Now, our topic is campus trend and mental health, addressing substance use in school. So what are these trends in our campuses, in our school right now, especially in this year 2026? The trend has been that, yes, students or young people are trying to function. So yes, it always starts with it starts with recreational use, but we see that from persons to persons, it doesn't just end there. Because yes, there are some persons that it's not just for the fun of it, but to be able to function. So these days in our campuses, students are not just trying to party. They are not just trying to party. They are trying to function. They are trying to cope. They are trying to deal with some of the challenges that they are going through. And yes, some of us might feel like, oh, everybody go through one challenge or the other. And yes, sometimes when we talk about mental health in children, mental health in adolescents, mental health among youth, many adults or some persons feel like, oh, what's this person thinking about? Do you know what I went through during my days? Do you know what I went through? I suffered and all of that. And I need us to know that we have different thresholds. The way you can handle problem or challenges might differ from the way even your siblings, children that are born in the same family, will address it or react to that same problem. So yes, the trend has been students are trying to move from repression to function. That is, the rise of drug use in our campuses now is that people are trying to get a study aid. They are trying to get help for their study by using substance, whether stimulants, prescription, and non-prescription prescription drugs, trying to survive the hyper-competitive academic culture, because no student goes to school for play. Nobody goes to write JAMB or write this exam just to go and play on campus. Yes, at 100 level or at the entry point, yes, most students have this desire, oh, I want to graduate with the first class. I want to graduate as probably the best graduating student in my department, best graduating student in this course. So there is this high competition in the academic environment. And some persons or some young persons are trying to catch up with these activities. So there is a situation of academic pressure. Yes, you listen to students, young people, they're like, oh, I'm stressed. I don't even know. There is so much demand on me. There's so much expectation. Parents are saying, yes, you have to graduate with good grade. Which is good, but sometimes the pressure is very real. So there's I don't do drugs. I don't do drugs. I only smoke. Not until this person went to psycho education, drug education, and all of that. That was when he saw that, oh, I'm actually on the wrong side, because of the way it's now socially acceptable, and in their circle, especially in schools. Also, misuse of prescription drugs and alcohol, prescription pills, the normal pain meds are now being abused. The normal, our usual cough syrup is now being abused in our campuses and among young people. Why? In order to keep up with academic performance, in order to stay awake. When I was an undergraduate, when I was in school, there is this, as a fresh student, there is this thing that they used to say then, that during exam that people do have mental health crisis. You can be in the academics reading and someone will just shout and just, people just having mental breakdown and all of that. And back then, then we used to think, oh, maybe it's the work of the village people that don't want this person to succeed, maybe attack from their family house and all of that. But later I get to understand that there are some students that take stimulants in order to stay awake. So exam is next week, or exam is 2 days. In 2 days time, you'll be writing this exam, and all the textbooks that you have not read since the beginning of the semester, you want to cover it within 2 days. So you overwork the brain, and eventually some people even get to the exam or they can't even write anything, right? So the trend is now that substance use is now very available, in parties, in social gathering, and people are getting introduced early, and they are made to believe that it is normal, like it is fashionable to take substance. Even if you are not, if you want to be a big boy, or you want to prove that you're a big girl, you have to take substance, so that you can feel among, you can be accepted by your peers. Is now even glamorized in unhealthy lifestyle. Intake of substance is now glamorized even on the social media space. And if you pay attention to some of this trend, you even see that there's a lot of marketing of substance, sales of substance, even on our social media space. Now there is also a gender shift, because before it used to be, oh, it's boys, it's guys that use substance, but females are now closing the gap in terms of drug use, in order to cope with some underlying mental health issue like social anxiety, depression, and also academic pressure. You can see that the connection between mental health and substance use. There's a strong connection between mental health and substance use. And when we are addressing this issue, maybe as a professional, as policymaker, as parents, as leaders, we must never make the mistake of separating substance use from mental health, because they are interconnected. There is drug-induced mental health issue. There's drug-induced or substance-induced mental illness, right? That someone, because of their intake of psychoactive substance, they develop mental health issue. While there are some people that they have mental health issues as a primary condition in their genetic predisposition and all of that, and they are living their life, not until they start interacting with substance and it brings out what is already there, right? Now, I said sometimes there are some people that is the substance use, is the use of psychoactive drugs that brings a mental issue, while some people have it as a primary condition. And some of these people, there is this self-medication circle, trying to use substance to cope with their symptoms. their mental health symptoms. Okay, someone is battling depression and trying to use alcohol and trying to use some other psychoactive drugs. So there is this cycle of self-medication because of untreated depression, social trauma, ADHD, and others. So we must, approach this issue with care, with compassion, so that before these people or someone that have that is going through mental health issue, before they find a plug, they find a psychologist. Before our students, before they eventually go into substance use, they're able to get help early. Many students are struggling with substance use, and they are also struggling with anxiety. They are also struggling with untreated trauma, burnout, even emotional neglect, family dysfunction, unresolved emotional pain, low self-esteem, right? Loneliness. So substance use become unhealthy coping mechanism in order to reduce academic stress, in order to temporarily get over um, over what they are going through because what starts as experimental use can now become, because of the addictive nature of these substances. Experimental use can become dependent, can graduate to dependency, can graduate to addiction, academic decline, emotional instability. That is why this conversation is very important. That is why early intervention is very important, because most onset of addiction or substance use started during school years. And that is why school needs to rise up to the task. We need to do more. Yes, beyond uh, doing drug tests, expelling students from school and all of this, because our school is now battlefield for mental health issues where students really struggle. Now, a lot of students are struggling, but they are finding it hard to come out, to own up that something is going wrong. I'm going through something. Why? A lot of them are silently struggling because of stigma. Oh, if I present myself that I'm struggling with substance use, they expel me from school. So, or they start looking at me as a bad person. Let me just keep it to myself. So stigma is one problem. Fear of judgment. So some people are not coming out to ask for help because of fear of judgment, because of shame, because of being misunderstood, because of lack of awareness, and that's why we need to really invest in prevention. They are afraid that they might be labeled, so they hide their pain until the situation becomes severe, right? For every addiction case that you see, you know that if this issue had been addressed on time, maybe it wouldn't have gotten to this point. And that is why I'm employing everyone on this call, whichever of our platform you are listening this evening, that we must normalize this conversation in our school. We must also normalize it in our homes as parents, as family members. Don't let us just look for drugs. Oh, is he smoking or is he not smoking? There are some signs. The signs are always there. There are telltale signs that you will see when someone starts taking substance, or someone have substance use disorder before, yes, maybe before things get out of hand. Let us some of these telltale signs that we can look out for: sudden behavioral change. When we just notice a drastic change in someone's behavior, right? This is not the way this person behaved before. Now there's a total shift. There's a huge shift, and yes, sometimes it might not even be drugs. What if the person is going through some mental health issue? Maybe is the onset of even another condition. So withdraw from friends' activities. When someone suddenly withdraw, they start keeping to themselves. They start changing friends. The friends that you know them with before, they are no longer moving with the person, and they're not moving with strange people, or they are not even interacting. Things that they previously enjoyed, they are no longer doing it, they are no longer enjoying it. Or you notice academic decline, sudden academic decline is a pointer, or it might be a pointer that something is going wrong, or something is happening to the person, or maybe this or unusual aggression, irritability, or things like keeping secret. You want to enter your child's room, they start arranging everywhere, or this the person is just spraying perfumes unnecessarily. That might be a pointer. Now addressing, and what if we now come to the point, okay, someone is having this problem. Addressing the problem is more than punishment, because yes, in the case of substance use, punishment sometimes push the person back to the hand of the dealer. Punishment sometimes push the person back to the street, right? Are we saying that we should indulge the person? No, but we should address the problem, right? So instead of punish and expel, which some schools still practice, we should move from identifying the problem and refer, identify and refer. We identify that someone have a problem, refer to professionals, refer to rehab for assessment. And yes, the rehab should not be used as a threat, because these days people see rehab as somewhere you go, they tie you down, they dehumanize you, and all of that. Rehab is a place of healing where the person can get detoxified and access psychotherapy. They're able to address their underlying problem, what even probably led them to the substance use in the first place, what those things that predispose them to substance use, or those things that reinforce their substance use, and why probably they couldn't stop, or why this person keep relapsing even after promising and after saying that I'm not going to do this again, I promise you, and all of that. And what can we do to be able to address this problem? One, in schools, let's strengthen the counseling service. That is, the counseling unit must be active and accessible. Yes. How many students still go to the counselor service, still visit a counselor or book a therapy session? So we must strengthen our counseling service. The counseling unit must be active, not just when they want to expel someone, or when they want to take one drastic step. And students should know where to go to, who to talk to, and how to access this support confidentially, right? Because even the substance use and what this person is going through, so in fact, most times these people, or people struggling with substance use, they have even stigmatized themselves. There is even personal stigma, self stigma, even before the social stigma and what the society even has to say to them. And also another thing we can do, to address substance use in our school is by providing psychoeducation and awareness. Psychoeducation and awareness. Like I just told you of someone that told me that, I don't do drugs, I only smoke. Um, some people will tell you, some people come to you and say that, no, no, I don't do hard drugs, because they are some that they are the hard ones, they are the one that nobody wants to hear about it. I just do, I just drink alcohol, and even this alcohol use has become alcoholism, has become, and the person has even developed disorder while using it. So we must strengthen our psychoeducation and awareness on substance use. We can't get tired of orientating psychoeducating our students everywhere, using every platform possible, like what NDLA is doing right now. Every week, it's also a form of psychoeducation, so that we can be aware of what is happening, and even people that are struggling can know that there is help somewhere, and they can come out of this problem. And family members that are dealing with people struggling can know that, oh, they are not alone, and help is available. Also, psychoeducation on mental health. People still see mental health as maybe someone have mental health crisis, or it's, oh, it's a spiritual problem. It's village people.
So next time, if you can hear us, I think there's a glitch with your network out there. Okay, let's appreciate our guest speaker, Queen Esther Soluade Oluwayemisi. She's the founder. Hold My Hand Counseling Hub. Thank you very much. She's been speaking over the past 20 minutes. We do hope her network can stabilize and then she will be able to uh, conclude her presentation because we just have barely 30 minutes more to engage in questions, to have take contributions from others on this platform. So quickly, while we try to address our network, then let's quickly appreciate some of our compatriots who have joined us from far and near. Thank you very much, Aliyu Mukhtar Usman. Thank you very much for being a part of the conversation today. Baidi Bawaji, thank you very much. Thank you. We also have Oluwakemi Akintunde. Thank you. We have Akimbode Peter. Thank you. Funsho Jimo. Funsho Jimo is a regular on the platform. Antonia Oyerede. Thank you very much for being a part of the conversation today. We have Euphemia. Euphemia is a regular on this space. Okay, we have our dear lady Maria Elubohi. Thank you very much. We do extend our condolences to you once again. Thank you. We have Katie Kati. Thank you. Pascal Ewebu, another regular on this platform. Francis, you can reach out to Queen Esther so that she can understand that she's probably will probably be speaking without knowing that she's not connected with us here. All right, we also have, like I said, Pascal Ewebu, another regular Opinion Hub. Thank you very much. Synergy at M. Oludimu, thank you. Oluwatimile, thank you. Little Macam Cosmic House, thank you. Luis Maria, thank you. We have Hoseni Ibrahim, thank you. Shafiu Salisu, thank you. We have Ugo, thank you. Thank you. Enes Shukuka Prince, thank you. We also have Muhammad Usma Yaskuma, thank you. Akim Tijani, thank you. We have Ahmed Firag, thank you. Prince Dan O, thank you. We also have Oluwa Damilola, thank you. I think I also saw you, Uncle Deji there. Thank you very much, Deji, for being a part of the conversation today. Okay, it's Queen Esther. Can you hear us? Francis, you will have to link up with her. Maybe she needs to exit and come back so that we can quickly wrap up. She can quickly wrap up with her presentation, and then we'll devote the next 30 minutes to engage on her presentation. Thank you very much. Okay, Queen Esther, can you hear me now? You are muted. Can you hear me now? Okay, she muted and then she unmuted again. Okay, you can, Francis, you can come. Let us speak on your handle if. Hear us now? Okay. questions, interrogations, and contributions from others. So let's see how you're able to manage the next 3 5 minutes to wrap up so that we can give others the opportunity to ask their questions. Please go ahead.
All right. So I've really thought to myself for a long time. All right. So please, did you hear the part where I said to address this problem, we need more than punishment. We need to
Absolutely, psychoeducation. Yeah, that's correct. We had that. We had that up to that.
get psychoeducation. That we should encourage healthy coping skills.
Okay, I think no, you didn't get to that before we lost you.
Oh my God. Okay. So part of what we can do, okay, I talked about strengthening counseling service, psychoeducation and awareness, encouraging healthy coping skills like emotional expression, seeking therapy when we need to. Some people still feel like, oh, therapy is for people that have mental illness, people that have mental problems. Therapy is for everybody. Everybody needs therapy. So, and another point is building peer support system, like having support groups, mental health clubs, recovery support initiative. I mentioned the fact that when I was an undergraduate, I used to be a member of Drug Free Club. We talk to students, we encourage ourselves, we were able to refer people that need, to maybe because of the fear of stigma, not wanting to go to the counseling unit, And also, lastly, collaboration between stakeholders, parents, schools, counselors, religious organizations, mental health professionals, agencies like NDLA must work together, because substance use prevention cannot be handled by one group. It's not one person fight, because this issue of substance use is affecting everybody. Hardly will you say a family that this is not happening, right? And even if it's not in your family, someone, maybe a neighbor, maybe someone on your street that have this um, problem. So it's a collaborative work. We cannot leave the fight to NDLA. NDLA is really doing a great job. Gone are the days when NDLA is only known for arresting. Now they have rehabilitation center. Now, they go to schools, they do different drug demand reduction program, just to help people. And I will just round up by saying that, it's a collaborative responsibility, and a drug-free society begin with you and I. It's not the work of some persons. It's not some persons that will do it. All of us, we have to join hands together. Just like everything you have learned here today, share it with someone, encourage people to join this platform, so that they can know that they are not struggling alone, and help is available. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, there, Queen Esther. Queen Esther is a counseling psychologist, addiction prevention and treatment professional, and mental health therapist dedicated to helping individuals find healing, hope, and restoration. She's widely known for her message, healing is possible and no one is beyond restoration. Indeed, no one is beyond restoration. Thank you very much, Queen Esther. She's been speaking 20 minutes, and the time is running fast, so we have to quickly um, attend to most or maybe some of the questions in our DM. Let's quickly get to. Okay, let's quickly read this. So you have to note these questions. We'll be asking them one after the other so that you respond. We'll take as many as we can within the time. And for those that may want to contribute or ask questions directly on the platform, please um, indicate so that we can approve your request, and then we can call on you to speak or make contributions. For those sending in questions into our DM, please continue that. We will be reading them one after the other. Perhaps some of the questions we skip, most likely that have been covered because of her presentation and because of her response or answering another question. All right, quickly, let's take this one from Adepate. Adepate is commending Queen Esther's presentation, and then um, as a school administrator, I would like our guest speaker to break it down. Practical steps schools can take to balance discipline with rehabilitation for affected students. Because if we have to close our eyes to the issue of discipline, we may continue to rigmarole in the same circle. Thank you very much, Adipati. Okay, let's hear from you, Queen Esther. I hope you got the question. Yeah, you are muted, Queen Esther. Unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Did you hear the question?
Please, can you take the question again?
Okay, Adepate is she's obviously is I mean she's saying she's a school administrator and then she would like you to break it down. Practical steps schools can take to balance discipline with rehabilitation for affected students, because if we have to close our eyes to the issue of discipline, we may have to continue to read my role in the same circle.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. Yes, while trying to help people that are already struggling, please, am I loud enough? Can we hear me?
Yeah, you are loud and clear.
All right, so while we're trying to help some people, we must not close eyes and allow other people to get affected. Yes, we are not saying that we should not inculcate discipline, right? But the goal is not, what we are saying is that the goal is not to, is not just to punish. So let's say a student is caught. Now, before that, what has the school been doing, right? Has the school been following some of these suggestions, have a active counseling units, doing psychoeducation, letting students know that help is available, let them understand implication and all of that, right? So if the school has been doing that, what we are saying is that we are not, we want to address the problem. Like, we are not seeing the person as a problem, but we want to address the problem. So now, instead of just sending the person away, what effort are we putting in place to help the person, probably to address the root problem? Yes, there are some schools that send their students for rehabilitation, just give them 3 months, to go through rehabilitation, depending on the severity, while some may not actually need rehabilitation, depending on the assessment of the psychologists, right? And even when they come back, how do we treat them? How do we accept them? So now, if we are able to, instead of just expelling them help, probably by getting them see a therapist, by asking them to go to a rehabilitation center. So even if we are going to discipline, because we know that addiction is a relapsing condition, yeah, there are some, the relapse is possible even in management of addiction, but we must combine, as we want to discipline, we must combine it with counseling, right? And not just to go for rehab is not our problem. How is the best person? We can also supervise the rehabilitation plan. Yes, and let the person know that, let students know as a rule, if you we have done what we need to do on our part, so these are the parts that you need to follow. Yes, we need to, with our policies, the school must have drug policy before even punishing or expelling. What are the policies of the school when it comes to drugs? Let the students be aware, and if anybody defaults, we combine counseling with discipline, help, let them get help, and also support them, because even when they come back, they still need proper follow up. So both administrators, school also need to understand the severity of the condition and how possible we can help the person.
All right, thank you very much, Queen Esther there. Okay, let's take the next one from Fola Shade is asking. Okay, first, Fola Shade is also commending you for your brilliant presentation, and then is asking, in the face of economic pressures, and scarce resources, many families may not be able to afford therapy because of the cost. I did hear the profile of our guest speaker talking about her role in RCCG or your province, and so I would like to know against that background, how does spiritual counseling or uh, prayers come in prevention and then treatment of substance abuse? I believe this should be free as against therapy. All right, Queen Esther, I believe you understood that.
Okay, yes, yes. Even both private government facilities are not cheap when it comes to treatment of addiction. And let's not forget that it's a relapsing condition, and the person will need it. Some persons may need long time support, right? So the role of organization. When I was rounding up the presentation, I said it's a collaborative work. So, like I know in RCCG, there are professionals. There is CADAM. There are also some rehabs that redeem under redeem. To help people that are having this condition. Now, when the first thing is, okay, find out that your loved one is doing substance, you want to do assessment. What's the severity, right? If it's still mild, if it's not severe, right? So assessment needs to be done. Will this person actually need rehab, or the person can find out, in a situation where money is a challenge and probably the family cannot afford rehabilitation. So yes, religion. There are some religious organizations that have professionals, and this is a religious organization. We can train some of our people. Yes, spiritual support work, prayer works, and all of that, but it has to be balanced. We will combine therapy with prayer so that everything can actually work together. So some persons can do well on outpatient program. They can just be visiting the center. They have access to therapists. They are working with them, supporting them on the journey, right? The person might not need to go. But if it's a severe, maybe we can explore some facilities, that some NGOs that are doing something in that regard to be able to help the person.
All right, thank you very much, Queen Esther. Then let's quickly take. I have just barely 15 minutes more. The time is running, and we're also trying to. I'm scaling through a lot of questions here. Okay, let me take this one from Oliver. Oliver is asking uh, between zero tolerance and harm reduction policy, what should schools adopt for student substance use? I'd like to hear from the guest speaker what she recommends between zero tolerance for substance use or harm reduction policy. Which of these options should schools adopt in their effort to curb the scourge of substance abuse in schools? All right.
Okay.
Did you understand that, Queen Esther?
Hello, sir.
Did you get me?
Please, can you come again?
Now, let me summarize what Oliver is asking. Oliver is asking, should schools use zero tolerance or harm reduction policy for student substance use? He's asking which of the two policies should schools adopt? Should it be zero tolerance for substance use or harm reduction policy?
Okay. Let's not forget that behind the figures, it says statistics, 14.4 million Nigerians are interacting with psychoactive drugs. Behind these figures are humans, and can be anybody. And in the beginning of my presentation, I said this can happen to anybody, and people don't go into substance because they just want to be bad, right? yes, it's okay to have zero tolerance policy, but to what end? So a student is found with substance, we expelled such students from school. So have we been able to help the person? What have we been able to do to the person? Most times we have just been able to push the person back, right? So I believe that there should be a balanced model. Yes, we can be firm. We are not saying that we should normalize drug use or we should encourage it, right? But we can actually, even people that are fall victim, there should be a way by which we can help them. So what we should actually aim for, so not necessarily, okay, zero tolerance or harm reduction. Yes, we want to protect the school. We don't want other people to get involved, but we still also want to help the person by addressing the root cause. We want to assess the student. Could it be trauma? Could it be mental health struggle? Could it be peer pressure? So above all, I think we should encourage help seeking rather than just pushing people out like that. Encourage them to get help.
All right, thank you very much, Queen Esther. I'll probably be asking, taking this one from Shaz as the last question, and then when you respond to Shaz, you then give your closing remarks after your response to Shaz. And Shaz's question is, okay, Shaz says, I'm a student in a university, and I already have a case on my hands. I have a friend who is into the issue of drugs for them because one of our other friends had actually been expelled last semester. Now it's difficult for uh, this other person to go for counseling, and I also find it difficult to tell anyone about it. What would you advise I do in this situation? Keeping quiet or going ahead to tell the authorities or push him for treatment while he may be expelled like the other friend was expelled last semester. All right, thank you, Shaz. Queen Esther, I hope you got that.
Okay, the person confide in you that he has a drug problem. What you can do, at least I think to some extent, you have been able to gain the trust of that person. So you can encourage the person, show love, because we have talked about some of the challenges why people don't want to seek help or maybe go see a counselor, right? So the first thing is you want to let the person know that sometimes what happened to us may not really be our fault, but what we do afterwards really matter. So you just have to keep assuring the person that, because now the fear of that person is that if I go, maybe they will expel me. So you want to go apply wisdom in handling that. So let the person know, that you're ready to support him. And the best thing to actually do is to seek help, is to talk to a professional. Because if the school catch him themselves, it might actually lead to the expulsion that is trying to run away from. So you can show the person love and encourage the person. What you can do is actually to encourage the person to seek help.
All right, let's have your closing remarks, Queen Esther, so that we can free you and free other persons right on this space to them.
Okay. Once again, I want to say thank you to NGLA for giving me this opportunity to knowledge on this platform, and I also want to appreciate some of my boss, my teachers on this platform that joined. Thank you very much. So when you were reading my bio the other time, you mentioned when I said I work as a therapist at Compassionate Recovery Center, you mentioned the name. That's not the center. So the center where I work. Yes.
Oh, okay. I mean, you guys have almost the same name.
I know. Compassion something. That's the one you were referring to. But this is
Okay. Okay.
recovery center is here in Ibadan, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, the other one is in Lagos.
Yes. Yes. I
All
know.
right.
Okay. So I just want to say, let us remember that behind the substance use, when we say young people or young person struggling with substance, sometimes it's a search for acceptance, hope, relief, right? And our responsibility as stakeholders, is to correct, is and not just to correct anyway, to create environments where young people can thrive, where they can feel supported and not feel condemned, right? And let us invest in prevention. Prevention will actually help. Prevention will actually help. They say prevention is better and cheaper than cure. If you're on this platform and you're not interacting with substance use, please don't go there. If you are struggling with any mental health issue, seek help from the right place. And the NDLA call out their toll-free line. They have professionals that can work with you. The toll-free line is free. You can share, you can onboarding, and they will link you up with the right help that you need. And to everybody, let's not forget that a drug-free society begin with you and I. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Soluade Esther Oluwayemise. She is a counseling psychologist, addiction prevention and treatment professional, and mental health therapist dedicated to helping individuals find healing, hope, and restoration. She's been with us over the past 1.5 hours. It's our pleasure to have you, and we're grateful you are able to deliver, give a good account of yourself. Thank you very much. I would like to appreciate every other person that has been a part of this. Thank you very much, and everyone that has joined us from far and wide. We appreciate you for creating time to be part of the conversation today. We'll definitely be back next week. But before that, let me also acknowledge my colleagues who have worked behind the scene with me, starting from Rita, Francis, Dele, Mahmoud, Victor, Kumbi, and the rest of you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for doing this with us week in, week out. We appreciate it. And like I often said, it's Friday, but then let's not lose our guard. Let's remain vigilant. Let's remain supportive of establishment. When you see something out there, please don't keep the information. Let's share with the relevant authorities to keep each and every one of us safe. Thank you once again, and then I'll leave you in the hands of Mahmoud until I come your way again next Friday by the grace of Almighty God. Bye from here, and I'll leave you in the hands of Mahmoud. Thank you. Over to you.